Greetings, fellow YouTubers. So I recently received $160 some odd in PayPal from Joel Patrick, who's helping my buddy Trapped sell the t-shirts. So thank you for helping me with that t-shirt sale that you guys are doing. Greatly appreciated. A lot of people think that Trapped's trying to take advantage of me. That's far from the truth, dude. Like, Trapped is one of my biggest fans, and he paid money out of his own back pocket to come to make the documentary. And a lot of things have changed since the documentary. My hair's longer, I've gotten a different job, me and Stephanie are no longer together, you know. Huh? My ex-girlfriend Stephanie is a fucking piece of work, let me tell you. Oh, he never did anything for me. Fuck you. Stephanie tried telling anybody who would listen on Facebook, he never did anything for me. Okay, where to start? Let's see. When I got kicked out of Job Corps, Stephanie wanted to drop out of Job Corps so badly so she could be with me. And I convinced Stephanie to complete the program at Job Corps for me, so that way, when she got out of Job Corps, if a job in her field of study became available, she would be able to get it. So she got tired of working her shitty fast food job, and she wanted a job in her field of training. You know what I'm saying? She'd be able to get it, no problem. Stephanie never had sex until she met me. So basically, Stephanie's first impression of sex was through me. Long story short, Stephanie will use any sad excuse to get laid. And she's kind of a nympho, dude. And when you give a chick's first impression of sex and it turns her into a nympho, I'm just saying that's a confidence booster. Not to mention that, you know, I would show her off on YouTube, like, hey, look what I accomplished. I got me a cute-ass chick for a girlfriend. Fuck all you haters talking shit. And I'd take her out to eat whenever I could afford it, you know what I'm saying? I managed to make it last 2 years, which is not bad considering that it was my first girlfriend, you know. Yeah. I certainly could have done worse for my first girlfriend, but Stephanie is manipulative and she overthinks shit constantly. And that got annoying really quickly, to be brutally honest. You know, but it is what it is, YouTube. Yeah, I still feel bad about cheating on her. Like, dude, I had a good thing. I had a really awesome thing going with Stephanie, and I fucked that up to high hell and back. The only thing I can do is learn from my mistakes and move on, which I've done, you know. Thing of it is, YouTube, you never forget your first. That is a fact. Yes, sir. I know in the documentary of mine, I said if I had a gun, I'd probably kill myself. Fuck suicide. Straight up. I get suicidally depressed from time to time, but I always talk myself out of it. I find excuses to stick around, you know? every time I've attempted suicide, it's failed every time. And I tend to think that if every suicide attempt I've taken has failed, then maybe I'm here for a reason. You know? What's a cat's favorite soda? Give up? Well, a cat's favorite soda to drink is Meowton Dew. Get it? Oh. You know what happened when the cheese got pissed off? Well, when the cheese got pissed off, you could say the cheese was fed up with it. Oh. Anyone? Come on. I thought of those jokes today when I was at work, and I was like, that's kind of funny. Meowton Dew. On a side note, however, I know people are going to get tired of me bitching about it, but I get tired of being rejected by every girl I crush on. That shit gets old after a minute, and despite the fact I know I'm an attractive young man, when you get rejected by every girl you crush on, you don't feel so attractive. And people keep telling me, oh, don't worry, Josh, you'll find a girl someday, blah, blah, blah. And my response to that, my response to that is, yeah, I'll believe it when it happens. Yeah. But sometimes being single isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know. You have more time to enjoy personal time, you know. To literally do the things you enjoy doing, you know. And to hang out with your friends and not have your significant other saying, well, I don't like your friends, or my mother doesn't like you. Fuck all that. That is literally the most annoying part of dating, is when your significant other says, oh, I don't like your friends, or your friends don't like me, or my mother or my father doesn't like you, blah, 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 blah. Fuck what they think, man. All that matters is what you think. Treat your girlfriend like a king. Or did I say king? God damn it, I meant fuck. Treat your girlfriend like a queen, and in turn, she will treat you like a king. And that's how it should be, you know. Straight up, fellas. Treat your girlfriend like a queen, and in turn, she should treat you like a king. And if you're there for each other, that's all that matters, you know. And yet, this is what gets me. My conclusion is that companionship is kind of pointless, because the end result is still the same. The end result, you say, yes, we are born alone and we die alone. So even if you find somebody to spend the rest of your miserable life with, you're still going to die alone. You can't change that, man. One day you're going to wake up and your wife's going to be dead. And either natural causes or some shit, you know. That tends to happen when you've been married to somebody for 75 plus years. One day you wake up and your wife and or husband is dead. And you spend the rest of your miserable life old, wandering the nursing home, wandering your house, looking for your deceased significant other half. YouTube, the pain of losing a life partner is just as great as somebody who has spent their entire life alone because they couldn't find companionship. Just as great. You take somebody who's had the hardest luck with finding a date versus somebody who just lost their life partner, and I guarantee you that the pain both those individuals feel is genuinely great and genuinely the same, even if it is to some degree on different aspects. The feeling is still the same. The feeling of loneliness. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I don't want to date or have companionship is because of that simple fact that we all die alone in the end anyways. So, you know, like the thought of, you know, growing old with somebody just to watch them go before you is painful to think about, to be honest. You know, the thought that if I find some girl to be with the rest of my life, it's all good and dandy for a couple plus years, but then the thought of me passing away before she does, that thought hurts me even more than her passing away before me, you know? Because I would never want to put a girl I love through that much pain, you know? So I think to myself, well, let's see, you hate getting rejected by, you know, sincerely, I think to myself, I hate getting rejected by women, I don't want kids. Fuck it, stay single and avoid sex like the plague and you're golden. At the cost of me being lonely, eventually I'll get used to it. You know? But then I'm just miserable. But then, you know what I'm saying, that can be miserable at times, you know? Especially when you're seeing other couples out in public who are enjoying each other's company. And then you get to the point, then it gets to the point, YouTube, where you're just grossed out by a public display of affection. Like, it gets to the point where you're pissed off at couples for PDA, and you think to yourself, man, there's children running around. They don't need to see that shit. But deep down inside, you know it's because you're jealous that you don't have anybody and they have somebody. And even if you don't want to admit it, damn, that's pretty fucking realistic, isn't it? Trust and believe you're not going to meet anybody more real than me. I tell it like it is. That's part of having Asperger's, is sometimes I'm incredibly blunt. Yeah. So rather than letting it piss you off and gross you out, you know, if you haven't had anybody for a long ass time, ignore it, you know. Straight up, be like, you know, even though you know what they have is fake and it's not gonna last, ignore it. Is my tobacco out already? Fuck. Not quite. Dump some of that ash off the top layer. Alright. The thing about trying to date somebody who's been single for a long ass time is the person who's been single for a long ass time, eventually that person learns to be independent and not rely on somebody else for happiness. And they work towards bettering themselves, you know, and enjoying things for themselves. But the biggest problem with society is society puts a lot of pressure on people, especially younger people, to have sex and have boyfriends and girlfriends and all that shit. And society literally makes you feel like shit if you don't have anybody. They do, and that's horse crap. I fucking hate how society pressures people into having relationships. when some people feel like that maybe they're not ready, or maybe that, you know, they don't want a relationship right now, you know. It's just disgusting. It really is. I tend to think that sex is overrated when you can do drugs and alcohol, but that's just my personal take on it. And because, seriously, your bag of weed's not going to complain when you're smoking another strain with your homies. Your bag of sativa is not going to bitch when you smoke indica with a homie. To quote one of my songs. To quote one of my songs. Have you met my lady friend Mary Jane? She don't bitch or complain. Oh, I love smoking pot. I enjoy the feeling it gives me. It also helps with my Asperger's and my cataracts. And I go to Colorado when I can, you know, get a couple buddies together, hop into a car, save up a shit ton of money for gas, drive down to Colorado, go to a dispensary, smoke it all in Colorado, drive back with nothing on you, you're good to go. Yeah. I suffer from Asperger's, cataracts, OCD, ADD, ADHD, depression, Tourette syndrome, an eating disorder, body image issues, and depression. Yeah, that's a fucking, yeah. But you don't see me complaining about it. No, not at all. It could be worse. So much worse. There are people out there, YouTube, there are people out there who need medical marijuana a lot worse than I do. Just saying. And I never take that fact for granted. Yeah. But yeah, those t-shirt sales that Trapped is doing with his buddy Joel, they're legit, you know. They are going to give me some money for the t-shirts, obviously. They're going to keep a little bit for themselves to help with the production, and a little bit for themselves for profit for doing the whole thing, obviously. But yeah, I am getting some money out of the deal here, you know. So, that's cool, you know. I checked my PayPal recently and I have like $160+ sitting in it right now. Yeah. And you know what's pissing me off about Teespring? Even though I've already linked my PayPal account to Teespring, it's not letting me, like, it, when I went to go put the $16 and some odd cents from my last t-shirt sale, which got canceled because Teespring suspected that I was using third-party content on a t-shirt, but whatever. Teespring kept on saying, you need to link your PayPal email address. You can do that in settings. I'm like, alright, so I click on my Teespring account settings, and there's a little section that says, enter your PayPal's email address. So I do that, and I get redirected to the same page, and it says that your email must match the emails listed And I'm like, what the hell? Because I use the same goddamn email for my Teespring that I do for my PayPal. So I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I use the same fucking email for my Teespring that I do for my PayPal, there shouldn't be an issue. Like, a couple months ago, I transferred money from my Teespring sales to my PayPal with no problems. So I don't know why the fuck my PayPal's not hooked up to it. And I sat there on my computer for a couple hours trying to figure out what the deal was. And, you know, no idea why it's doing that. And I know it could be worse, but it's still frustrating for that shit to be going down, you know? Like, for real. Anyways, this is King Cobra JFS with another video. And before I go, Trap's not gonna fuck me over. He's one of my biggest fans. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? He came all the way down to Casper, Wyoming to do a documentary about me out of his own back pocket. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things have changed since the documentary, like I've said. My hair is longer, I'm older, wiser, you know. I know in the documentary I said if I had a gun I'd commit suicide, and I'm here to say right now, fuck suicide. Straight up. In the past, whenever I've attempted suicide, I've failed every time. So I tend to think that maybe I'm here for a reason, and I don't know what it is just yet. But yeah, it's King Cobra JFS, back at you with another video. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you cool cobras later.